Thank you very much, Congresswoman. It is so great to be here with all of you in Oxnard, California. I have really been looking forward to this, and I know that outside we have a huge overflow crowd. I hope they can hear me. We set up the sound. We're sorry you can't be in here, but what a great way to spend part of a Saturday afternoon. I want to thank Congresswoman Brownlee for that wonderful introduction. We're very proud to have her in the Congress. I look forward to working with her if I'm so fortunate enough to be president on your behalf. I want to thank Representative Doss Williams. I want to thank the superintendent, Dr. Penelope De Leon, Principal Gary Maeda. I want to thank the Hueneme High School community, and particularly this great band. I am so pleased you're here. You look great in your uniforms. Really, terrific. You know, I asked the principal, what does Hueneme mean? And he said it's a resting place. It's a resting place. And it's also a place filled with hard-working people. It is a place where you care about your families, you care about your community, you take pride in your schools, and you are so much a part of the kind of America that I cherish. People who care about each other, care about your neighbors, are devoted to your families and their futures. That is who we are as Americans. Let us never, ever forget that. We are stronger together. Look, I know, thank you for being here. I know that this is going to be a really significant election. Oh, hey, I want to thank Mariachi Band, too. Thank you. I just saw you guys. So glad you're here as well, looking good in your uniforms, too. Wow. I want to just talk for a few minutes about the stakes in this election, because every day that goes by, they seem to get even higher. And I really believe that this is one of the most important elections we've had. Now, why do I say that? It's not because I'm running. If I weren't running, I would say it was. It's because I have been deeply honored and privileged over the last years to have met a number of our presidents. How important it is that the person we vote for understands that everything you say matters. Matters here at home, matters around the world. Because when you are seeking, and certainly when you are serving as President of the United States, the entire world is listening. We bear a responsibility of leadership. I'm proud of that. I think about all our veterans who we honored last Memorial Day and the service they gave to our country. And I know that to every generation, that responsibility befalls. So when I talk about what's at stake here, I'm talking about the tests that you should expect anybody running for president to pass. First of all, can this person actually get things done that will make a positive difference, produce results in my family, my community, and our country. Secondly, can this person protect America and lead the world with strength and steadiness? And thirdly, can this person unify our country? Well, honestly, I think it's fair to say on each of those tests, Donald Trump fails. Take the first one. I've been putting out for more than a year what I think we can do together to create more good-paying jobs with rising incomes. There is nothing more important to a hard-working American than a good job with a future that can give you a good standard of living for yourself and your family. We need more good jobs. We need to get incomes rising. I've laid out plans. We need more jobs in infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, our tunnels, our ports, our airports. We need more advanced manufacturing jobs, jobs that can't be exported but instead come back from overseas to put people to work right here in Oxnard and across California. We need to combat climate change with more clean, renewable energy jobs. California has been leading the way, but there is still a lot of work to be done in energy efficiency, in solar, wind, everything else. I've said let's make a plan to install 500 million more solar panels by the end of my first term and enough clean energy to power every home in America by the end of my second term. Those are jobs that have to be done right here. And they're good, important jobs with purpose and a good income. Now, Donald Trump has no plans. And basically he says climate change is a Chinese hoax. Sort of sounds like Trump University, if you ask me. His only plan is to cut taxes on billionaires. You know, we tried that before. It doesn't work out so well. Some of you remember during the 1990s when my husband was president, we had 23 million new jobs and incomes went up for everyone. We were on the right track, right? But what happened is we got a Republican administration and they went back to cutting taxes on the wealthy. And they ignored all the risks in the financial markets, the mortgage markets, and we ended up with the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. And when President Obama came into office after he was elected in November of 2008, he inherited that mess. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves for making sure we did not go even deeper into an economic crisis. So now we are standing, but we're not yet running, and that's why I've got these very specific ideas about what we can do to really get the economy pumping, get more people back into the job market, and get those incomes rising. But it's not enough just to grow. We got to make the economy fair. We got to do more to help small businesses again. Small business actually creates most of the jobs in America. We need to follow California's example and raise the federal minimum wage. And we need to finally guarantee equal pay for women's work. Now, this is not just a woman's issue. If you have a mother, a wife, a sister, or daughter, and we all have at least one of those, it's a family issue. It's an economic issue. We believe in America that if you work hard, you should be rewarded. And that's true for women and men. It's true for everybody. So we're going to make sure that it finally finally results in equal pay. Now, everything I've just said, Donald Trump disagrees with. He doesn't want to raise the minimum wage. He doesn't believe equal pay is a problem. I also believe we've got to do more to help people balance family and work. We've got to hold down the cost of child care. In some places, it costs as much as college tuition. We need to do more to help people afford to go to college again. And I've set out a plan that if you go to a public four-year college or university, you're not going to have to borrow a penny to be able to pay for tuition. And we need to do more to get the debt off of the backs of people who have student debt right now. What I'm interested in is how we lift up families, provide more support for families, because when families are strong, America is strong. Now, when I talk like this, which I've been talking like this for about 40 years, when I talk like this, Donald Trump accuses me of playing the woman's card. Well, I'll tell you what, you know what's coming. If equal pay, raising the minimum wage, making child care affordable, protecting a woman's right to choose is playing the woman's card, then deal me in. Look, we also have to make sure people can get quality, affordable health care. I will defend the Affordable Care Act. Before there was something called Obamacare, there was something called Hillary Care, so I know how important this is. But we've got to get the costs down. Premiums, copays, deductibles, prescription drug costs, they're going up too fast. And we got to do two more things. We have to do a better job treating mental health and addiction. So there's a lot of great work for us to do. I look at these young people. I want them to believe, because I believe it, that America's best years are still ahead of us if we do our part. If we work together, if we make the decisions we must to provide the opportunities. But it's also important that we protect America. And I gave a speech in San Diego a few days ago outlining all of the reasons why I do not think Donald Trump is qualified to be commander-in-chief. I don't say that lightly. I use his own words. When someone running for president attacks our closest allies and praises dictators, I don't know what to make of that. When someone running for president says we should pull out of our major defense alliance, namely NATO, and he doesn't really care whether countries like Japan, South Korea, and Saudi Arabia get nuclear weapons, that's dangerous. When he says that he wants to return to torture and that he's going to order our military to kill the families of suspected terrorists, that's not only against our values, that violates international law. But it also runs counter to the honor of our country and the honor of the men and women who serve in our armed forces. And I want to tell you, I was one of that small group that was asked to advise President Obama about whether or not to go after bin Laden. We had intelligence that pointed to an odd-looking big compound in a city in Pakistan that was a military garrison city. That's where their equivalent of West Point was. A lot of active duty, retired military lived there. So we knew we had to get it right. I was very committed to bringing bin Laden to justice because I was a senator from New York on 9/11. I was at ground zero within 24 hours of our being attacked. I saw what it meant for us to have 3,000 people murdered. So I was